We got 15 seconds on the clock. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the grid. Southwest Florida Sharks take on the Orlando Aces. They are set and ready to go for partner forward. Teams are standing by. Here we go. Nick Shappy opening up for the Sharks in the green, as well as Alex Velez, who opens it up for the Aces in the black. He is joined by Janine Nicole, knocking out those stats in that first quadrant.
Sharks just have a slight edge over the Aces as they got to their box first. Did just catch a fault from Nick Shappy, so that's going to leave a little window of opportunity. It looks like it has evened things up for both teams as they finish up these first 5 reps for each gender in quadrant number 1. Both teams now moving into quadrant number 2. Barbell for the men, 165 pounds. They've got 4 reps apiece, and 105 for the ladies.
As Shappy hands it over to Valerie Gunning. She's going to finish up her snatches at 105 pounds. Who's going to be first to the box? Here's Alex Velez onto that box, 30 inches.
Yeah, it looks like taking their time to make those jumps. Don't want to waste any precious seconds catching a fault there. Typically what we're going to see is teams tapping out and substituting after quadrant number 2. That's exactly what we're seeing here on your screen.
Janine Nicole was flying on those box jumps as she finished up. Derek Anderson on the screen now is Sam Nally for the Sharks. It's going to be Ryan DeMatti and Trisha Davis on the screen for the Orlando Aces.
And they are in quadrant number 3. Right now that box they're jumping over at 34 inches for the men, 30 inches for the ladies, 3 reps apiece for both as they head into quadrant number 4.
DeMatti might be new to the FGL, but he does not look like it. Trisha Davis definitely is not. Derek Anderson and Sam Nally definitely are not. And we are neck and neck. It's Sam Nally, Trisha Davis. 38 box over. Anderson is done. Trisha Davis with a fault. Can Nally win it?
Wow, and that's going to be a photo finish.
Photo finish, it is, but a miscommunication on the side of the Aces. I'm not sure if you caught that. Yeah, Davis finished, and DeMatti was, it seemed like he was in quicksand on the hash marks.
Now, he was not through. He was standing on the hash marks, so both players have to cross the finish line in order for that to count. Now, that would have been a photo finish had he joined Trisha Davis in the crossing of the finish, so we're going to wait just a moment for the unofficial score from that race as we reset the grid and get ready for our mirror.
Yeah, you've got Taylor Stallings asking for some sort of review. We saw a review earlier in our first match of the day with the Wild and the Brigade. Yes. There was a review of that first match. And now we might have one here. I think the head referees are talking, but we do have Cassie standing by at the start line. Cassie, what do you got for us?
I'm out here on the grid between the Aces and some very hungry Sharks. A little bit of an upset from the Aces. Sharks are looking hungry. Both teams are very eager to be on the grid here today for the Northern Conference. It's going to be a good one. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Cassie. So it looks like there's not going to be a review on that. We're going to move into our next race. But first, here's an amazing feature on both head coach, owner, player, Taylor Stallings and Janine Nicole.
How would that even look? Like, as far as me being a coach, owner, and everything, and then us having to play together, work together, like, this is really going to test our relationship. I told her that she had to try out for the team, and she was our unanimous pick. I was scared and nervous the entire time leading all the way up until the first match because I'm intense. I know I'm very intense.
It caught me off guard a little bit, I think, on the first practice. I was like, oh wait, I can't like go over and just give you a kiss or like yeah.
We tried to keep when we're on the team, in the practice and everything, just 100% business.
As a coach, right, she's so motivational, and like I know for me, like just the way you just pour into people on the day-to-day, and then just still having that energy and all that love to still like bring that into our relationship. It's like 2 different pots, you know? Like I like baking cheesecake, right? I like baking cheesecake, right? So it's like I have to make 2 separate cheesecakes. I have to make one for the family, right? And I make one for home just so that we can have some and she can have some. And that's like That's our love and support, right? We pour into people on a day-to-day, but like we make sure we have enough to support and pour into each other. So
now I want you.
I know. We support each other in everything, like all aspects. We both have the same type of background, whether it was college sports, high school sports, all that. There are a lot of days when you do question things and you're like, why do I do this? You know, we are there for each other in that.
We compete with everything.
We do.
We're two
Even like going to bed at night and turn the light off. Like, it's like,
we just pick and choose our battles.
We pick and choose. Yeah,
it's been fun.
It has. You know we have to talk about it.
Better not be what I think it is.
Yes.
We are not talking about it.
Yes.
No.
Why not?
I told you no.
Why not?
I can't.
Come back.
I cannot.
Come back.
I can't.
Thank you to Slate Milk for fueling our players and staff this season with their high-protein, clean ingredient chocolate milk. Find it at your local grocery store like Publix, Walmart, and Wegmans.
Coming back to the action here in the Orange County Convention Center. Race number 2 on deck. It's called Mirror. Joe, why is it called Mirror? What can we expect?
All right, well, Alan, the barbell, this mirror race is 2 genders coming out on the floor at the same time. 3 males, 3 females. Now there's a required number of repetitions for both genders to complete in each quadrant. That is 10 reps apiece. Now barbell cannot touch the ground. If it does, all players must run to the start line before continuing, and any player on the grid may assist supporting barbell as long as it's not during the actual movement being performed.
Stand by. Race runaway in the stairs.
And we're off. We'll talk about what these players are doing in quadrant number 1. Now they have 10 reps apiece in each quadrant. We're looking at thrusters. Barbell weight for the men, 195 pounds, and 130 for the ladies.
As we are, the key here on the mare, there's going to be communication and teamwork. That barbell cannot touch the ground at any moment, Joe. We saw it happen in the 4th and final quadrant where the brigade dropped it. Miscommunication, and it cost them the race. So teamwork, strategy, wrapped in as human racks. You have 2 teammates, 3 teammates at a time carrying that barbell from quadrant to quadrant in between each set of 10.
Yeah, and it makes things a little easier being that today's movement is a thruster, so they can hold it in that front rack position, which makes it a little easier to hand off and carry from quadrant to quadrant. Both teams right now pretty neck and neck. Sharks just slightly ahead. Gomez, we're looking at the Aces in just behind, maybe 2 reps from the Sharks in quadrant number 3 of their 10 repetitions.
Angel Serrano and Kayla Hollings on the barbell for the Aces. It was Derek Anderson and Kristen Benito finishing up for the Sharks. Hand is up on the Aces side. Men are done for the Sharks. Benito has another rep, and the Aces have come back, climbed back into the lead into the 4th and final quadrant. Taylor Stallings, Ryan DeMatti. Can DeMatti redeem himself from that partner forward?
Hands are up. 3 reps remaining for the Aces. They're about 2 reps ahead of the Sharks. Waiting for the partner. Everything is down. Aces in. Sharks still going to able to get under that cap with 5 seconds to spare. 2 points are going to go to the Aces for winning that race. 1 to the Sharks.
Looking at even
And that's our mirror.
Yep, so after 2 races, we are all tied up at 3 apiece, and it was interesting there. You know, the Sharks started with a lead until quadrant 3, where Bonito had to relieve one of the females in between the set of 10, and then we saw it in quadrant 4, where Anderson had to relieve Shappy. It cost him a lot of time, and it seems like that strategy was costly because it opened up the door for the aces to climb into the lead, and then they shut the door behind them and kept the lead.
Well, and the males did the same thing for the Sharks. Gomez actually started those thrusters for quadrant number 3 and then handed it off to Anderson. So then Anderson took the weight down onto his neck, carried it over. Somebody else started for him in quadrant 4, and then he finished in quadrant 4 as well. So they did 2 swaps in quadrants 3 and 4, which can't happen if you're going to be competitive in this particular race.
Oh, I mean, absolutely not. Can't happen. But again, it's short-term memory here. You got to put the race behind you and move on to the next one. The next one is the ringer point. But first, Cassie at the start line with Trisha Davis. Cassie, what's going on with the aces?
I'm here with Trish Davis of the Orlando Aces. Trish, this is your first match back for the 2023 season.
Last match.
You were back last match. So what is going through your mind during this first match?
I've always been excited to do the snatches in the burpee box or the box jump over. So the only thing I was thinking about was just do clean reps, go as fast as possible, and just get it done.
Well, you guys ultimately won the mirror race, but there was some kind of confusion in quadrant 2 to 3. What was going on there?
I guess something about like not being in the hash mark, and then so I had to keep doing extra reps. And then by the time we ended on the last quadrant, I didn't know if I was done. Ryan didn't know if he should move, so we were all just a little bit confused. And it just those couple seconds just cost us. But it's okay, we brushed it off. New race, every race one step at a time.
That's right, I like it. Thank you so much for your time and good luck on the rest of your race. Back to the desk.
Thinking about Cassie and Trisha. Again, we said it, short-term memory, she mentioned it.
That's right.
Once the race is done, you move on to the next one. The next one is the ringer point race. The Sharks have won 3 out of their 4 ringer point races this year. This one has been picked by the Aces. What did the Aces pick?
We've got bar-facing burpees today. So taking a look at the graphics on the screen, 4 men, 11 reps. For the ladies, 10. And we've got Nicole versus Townsend. So these ladies got 10 reps apiece. They'll race out to quadrant number 2. We'll do those bar-facing burpees by splitting that line that you will see crossing through the barbell there and then racing to the finish line. This one's going to be real fast.
It's going to be real fast, and time will come into play if both these teams want to secure some points. Townsend and Nicole are off. Ladies and gentlemen, do not blink. The action has started.
And as you can see, they're splitting that white line that crosses through the barbell. Half of their body must be on each side of the line. Hands are in the air. It looks like the Aces. There was a fault for the Aces. Chest did not touch the ground on the burpees. That would be a fault ultimately in this type of race with only 10 repetitions. Not going to give it to you.
Yeah, so, and we'll see now how costly those faults were if she's able to stay within 20% of the time that Townsend finished for the Sharks. Because if she's not, they're not going to get a point for that race. We saw it happen in our first match of the day. We'll see if it happens now. But first, we got a great feature on Sharks player and firefighter Cara Palumbo, who we'll see later on in this match. Up next.
It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You know, I'm not just going to come into a department and be accepted right away. I knew right away that I was going to have to work hard. Just prove to the guys that you can do the job. Being able to do that task is what motivates me. It all narrows down to, can you do the job or not? It's my room, guys. Welcome to my crib. Don't look at my dirty laundry on the floor. My name is Cara Palumbo. I am a bodyweight specialist for the Southwest Florida Sharks. I work for South Trail Fire Department, and I am a paramedic firefighter, and I've been doing that for just shy of 4 years. So this is the inside of our home of Station 63. This wall right here is dedicated to the Surfside collapse that happened back in 2021. My Captain Robinson, was actually there. My grandparents pretty much inspired me to be a firefighter. I remember as a little kid going to their house, and they would have the portable radio on top of their refrigerator, and once in a while they would get a call and they'd have to leave real quick. They were telling me about all these cool calls they were going on and how cool it was to be a firefighter. I'm like, I can do that. These are all different calls or training events that we've all been a part of. Here's our station mascot. Captain's room is over here. He's hard at work. Hey guys. Hey. There are obstacles, you know, if you're strong enough, if you can hang with the guys. About 5% of career firefighters are women. Kind of got to get the respect of the people in the department. A second gym in here. As long as you prove yourself, you stay active, you stay taking classes, and you just prove to the guys that you can do the job, they accept you as your family, as your sister.
Go get him, Kara. Yeah.
Welcome back to the live FGL broadcast brought to you by Skyhill USA, the best grips in the game. If you want to see that the entire feature on Kara Palumbo, head over to our YouTube channel. It's there. You won't forget it. Great feature on her. We're going to see her later on, definitely on Jack and Jill, as the gymnastics bodyweight specialists come into play in this over-under match. If you like what you're watching on YouTube, make sure to give us the thumbs up. Make sure you like our post. That's going to help spread it to as many eyes as possible. And make sure you subscribe so you will not miss any matches today and on November 3rd and 4th for championship weekend. Again, so much action coming to you today, but the action we want is right here, right now, between the Aces and the Sharks. We're waiting to get a score update for you, but up next, the strength specialists get to shine, or continue to shine, in the beginning of this race. Joe, what do the fans at home have in store for them on this ladder?
Well, for our ladder, we've got ground to overhead. Now, the teams are trying to accumulate as many points as possible. Now, a maximum of 10 points per player can be earned. Teams accumulate as many points as possible through these successful lifts. Now, the weight and point value increase as you move down the grid, as you can see on your graphics on the screen. Now, the point value is equal to the number of the quadrant, and it's one lift attempt per bar. Now, a player can skip any bar, but must move forward. And, of course, if the final ladder score difference is 10 or more between the two teams, then the losing team will not be awarded a match point. Now let's look at the weights for these ground to overhead. For the men, starting in quadrant number 1, 225 pounds. For the ladies, 135. In quadrant number 2, 250 pounds for the gentlemen, and for the ladies, 155 pounds. Quadrant number 3, 275 pounds, and for the ladies, 175. And then finishing quadrant number 4, 300 pounds for the men and 195 pounds for the ladies. The element value assigned 1 for quadrant 1 and increasing 1 point through each of the 4 quadrants, which will help us with our player stats as those are rolled out through between each match and the off season. It gives basically teams and the viewers an idea of how these players are contributing to their team and to the overall match.
Yep, absolutely. Sharks have not lost a ladder at R this year. Aces are 1-1 on their ladders, but I think we're in for quite the show. Breezy Lanes lined up for the Sharks. Taylor Stallings set and moving for the Aces.
So with this ground to overhead movement, we're watching Stallings. She's in quadrant number 2 with a 155-pound barbell. They can essentially take this bar any way they want. Stallings choosing to snatch in quadrant number 4 for the Sharks, we just missed it off our screen. They were going for the clean and jerk, which is exactly what Stallings did in quadrant 4 with that 195-pound bar.
You know, we didn't see anyone in the previous match snatch a barbell. We've seen it twice now with the aces. Taylor Stallings did it all the way to quadrant 3 and then clean and jerk quadrant 4. Hollings did 1, 2, and then clean and jerk 3. He's on your screen. He'll clean and jerk 4. Anthony Niemczyk clears the ladder as well. So 2 for 2 so far for both of these teams in clearing the ladder. That's 20 points apiece. Trisha Davis now on your screen for the aces.
Yeah. Trisha Davis heading into quadrant number 3. She's going for that clean and jerk, that barbell, 175 pounds. No issue for her. Both teams in quadrant number 4. Now watching Davis, taking a moment before she decides to clean that weight overhead. Not an issue for her.
Kristen Kennedy cleared the floor for the Sharks, as did Davis. Here's Ryan DeMatti for the aces and Derek Anderson for the Sharks. And Maddie on your screen.
Clean and jerk, 250 pounds. Now we're watching 275 pounds for these gentlemen, and both going to attempt the 300-pound barbell in quadrant number 4. Aces, good. Sharks, also good.
So if you're watching at home, you're keeping track, it's 40-40. We've had 4 players on each team clear the floor so far.
Yeah, that's a total of 10 possible points for each player. So if they do clear the entire grid, 10 points going to that player.
Olivia Scott on your screen just cleared the floor. Here's Sam Nally.
Now, we did leave out, there's a 4-minute time cap to get these players in and through this ladder. Now, the final player can be out on the grid when the time runs out for it to count. They do not need to cross the finish.
Nally just cleared the floor. Here's Angel Serrano for the aces in black.
And it looks like Nick Shappy for the Sharks out in quadrant number 2, now heading into quadrant number 3. We are looking at
Angel Serrano, 300-pound clean. He's done. Here comes Nick Shappy, the former Gainesville Wild. Can he get the 300 and keep the streak alive for the Sharks? Shappy gets underneath it, and he does. We are all tied up from my count right now. Unofficial, all tied up. Here's Hollings for the aces.
Hollings, easy in quadrant number 3. Now picking up that 195-pound barbell in quadrant number 4. She's under, she's got it.
Kayla Hollings. Everyone has cleared the floor for the aces. Here's Kristen Benito with the squat clean. Benito jerks it. Sharks, from my count, everyone's cleared the floor. Here's Alex Velez on the aces side.
And Velez heading into quadrant number 3, that 275-pound barbell.
Velez makes it look easy. Easy is the name of the game for Francisco Gomez. And Velez has skipped quadrant 4. So this could give the Sharks a 4-point lead right now. Gomez gets it through. So the Sharks have sent and cleared everyone. Janine Nicole, 15 seconds on the clock. Nicole gets it, so skip quad 4.
So as we said, there's 8 seconds left on the clock. This is Black for the aces and
Gunning. Valerie Gunning cleared the floor. It looks like the aces may have done just enough to stay within that 10-point range, but I want to say the Sharks sent 9 and cleared 9. So that would be a total, unofficially, a total of 90 points. And again, that would mean the Sharks have won every single ladder. The Sharks, we talked about it, race, match after match. They have reinforced this team, and they are here to win.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we haven't seen the bonus flag, being that they are so dominant when it comes to the ladder.
Great point, Joe. Bonus flag, I'm sure we're going to see it at least once in this match. It's going to be worth the total of an extra point to the winner of the race. So before the ladder went in, we had an official score of Sharks 5, Aces 4. We'll get the official tally of the ladder, and we'll get you an updated score as soon as we can. But it's been enjoyable so far. Wouldn't you say, Joe?
Absolutely. Very high pace, very strong teams in the Sharks and the Aces, both showing that in the ladder. It's going to be exciting to see how this unfolds through the rest of the match.
I'm I'm excited. I know you're excited. Fans at home, I hope you're excited. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this message from Innovate.
Peachy athletic shorts, guys. Just saying. Looking peachy.
And the peaches are great. They're really stretchy. They're soft.
I like the fit. I like the fabric. It makes me just feel more comfortable while I'm working out. I don't have to worry about things coming out.
Love training in these shorts. Love competing in the shorts. They stay put. Got a really nice thick waistband.
They definitely pass the squat test and the booty test. They're really comfortable. Like I could wear them out and I could wear them on the floor.
But still feel covered, but able to do all the movements.
Go get yourself some.
I'm a marketing specialist and also a fitness enthusiast, so I kind of do a little bit of everything. A little bit of gymnastics, a little bit of lifting, but I'm also a person who gets really bored with eating the same things. I like that Rebuilt has made it a lot easier for me to meal prep because it takes out a bunch of meals that I don't need to now prep. When I'm at work, I can just heat them up really quickly, or if I'm working from home, I can heat them up really quickly. And it just makes the time when I do get home after work or after the gym a lot simpler because I have those meals ready to go. I track most of my macros. You can scan them super easily, put them in MyFitnessPal. It's easy for me then to plan the rest of my meals with the rest of the macros that I have left for the day because it tallies it up super simple for me. Super clean food while also tasting really good. I feel like I'm getting a good healthy amount of protein, carbs, and fat per meal. I like the lifestyle line. It allows me to have a little bit more flavor, a little bit more carbs. I feel good going into training. I'm ready to go. It makes my life super simple and I really like them.
Welcoming you back to our FGL live stream, live from the Orange County Convention Center here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. As we got our second of 4 matches on the day. And Joe, I have a feeling Sharks head coach Nick Habich must have heard us talking about the bonus flag because he felt inclined to throw it here in this next ringer point race. So this race is now worth an extra point to the victor.
Yeah, and it's such a quick race. I mean, anything can go wrong with this type of race. I don't know that necessarily it's the best place to throw the bonus flag, being that it's so quick. I mean, he must have a ton of confidence in his player, which is, I believe, Kennedy, coming out for the Sharks, going up against Damati for the Aces in this ringer point.
Absolutely, and you know, we got the final score in now for the ladder. It was another race win for the Sharks. They're 3-0 on the year on ladders. They have now set a record for the most points in the ladder with 87 total points. So Nick Habich has to be feeling good. Partly a reason why he probably threw that bonus flag, because the momentum that they would gain going into the rest of this match would be huge. But it's all going to come down to this ringer point race. What does this ringer point race consist of for Damati and Kennedy?
All right, so looking ahead at the ringer point, they've got, well, not the correct what you're seeing on the screen, but we are doing the yoke carry. For the yoke carry, it is a 500-pound yoke for men and 350 pounds for ladies, and they are taking it the entire length of the grid, 80 feet. Now you're seeing it on your screen. It has been awarded an element value of 3, meaning it is a relatively difficult Element as far as grid is concerned. Once again, men's 500-pound, ladies 350, going all 4 quadrants, which is 80 foot across the grid, start to finish.
Couldn't agree more, Joe, and it's going to be tricky now because we've seen some players try and sprint this, and it makes it difficult. Kennedy, DeMatti are off. Habich through the bonus flag. Can Ryan DeMatti redeem his mistake from earlier on? And it's going to be close. It was a picture finish. Nick Habich is cheering as if he believes they have won this race. It was a photo finish.
Well, I would say if you're looking at the screen, the left side of your screen, depending if it's the front or if the entire piece of equipment needs to cross the finish line, I would be willing to bet that the race was over and the Sharks, took that one because they were fully across the finish line, and he set his bar down, and I'm still looking at it now, and it's still sitting on that white line of the finish line. So yeah, I mean, maybe he just thought it was over and set it down, and knew that he was beat also.
Habich was confident from the start to the finish. He was at the finish line and saw him cross. He just knew from there. So that's going to be 3 points for the Sharks. It was close enough to where the Aces will get their 1 point, but it's going to be a 10-6 lead right now going into the next race. We got more action. Don't go anywhere. But first, a message from one of our sponsors in Element.
I love Element Salt a lot.
Hardcore Element user.
Element's been awesome.
Element.
So I've been using Element basically every day. I love it. I was, back to working out and wanted to make sure that I stayed hydrated because that's so important for your supply.
It was a game changer for me because all through high school and college, I would always cramp. This generally comes from that mineral imbalance. Having Element T, in my training bag keeps me hydrated. It's phenomenal.
It rejuvenates me in the workout. It's what my body craves and it's what it needs after sweating so much. It's definitely helped me get through really long, tough workouts and just give me the energy that I need in order to keep pushing through.
Element is a partner of the league, and the players absolutely love it. Clean ingredient, electrolytes that our bodies need to function, and using it makes drinking water easy because it's so good. www.drinkelement.com to learn more, or follow them on Instagram at DrinkElement for their salty content.
Love the Element drink. And I'm sure these players are feeling up on it because we are 5 races through. We've got our 6th race of the match. We talked about Cara Palumbo earlier in her feature, firefighter and grid player. We're going to see her featured here in Jack and Jill. What do the fans at home have to look forward to in this next race?
Well, Jack and Jill, 3 stations of body weight elements. Now, players can substitute by gender at any time. 1 male, 1 female, work together to complete the race. 3 movements, and like I said, they are all body weights. Let's look at the movements for today. Handstand push-ups at quadrant number 1. They have 60 repetitions. They can split any way they'd like. Moving on to quadrant number 2, 10-inch deficit handstand push-ups at 30 reps. And then finalizing things in quadrant number 3 with 10 freestanding handstand push-ups.
You think 10 inches, and you don't think much until you actually see the platforms that these players' hands have to go on.
It's a full head.
It looks almost impossible, but these players continue to amaze us each and every single week. Players are set. We've got Palumbo. Along with her is Michael Cintrone for the Sharks.
And on your screen for the Aces, that's Nicole starting her handstand push-ups and Blatt waiting patiently.
Palumbo on your screen now. Again, a total of 60 handstand push-ups. 60 seems like so much, Joe. But Nicole is flying through these, as is Palumbo.
Yeah, I mean, they give you that line. You see the lines for where their hands can be. Can't go outside, and as long as your hands are on the lines. So going wider will help. Helps that lower range of motion, getting through those a little speedier.
You have Megan Medeiros, who ran out on the floor for the Aces, already getting set for her deficit handstand push-ups. So it looks like Blatt is going to finish it off. If you're watching at home, you have our referees in the black polos. You're looking for that hand to go up. That's going to let you and me know they have 5 reps left in that element. As Medeiros and the Aces are off first on the 10-inch deficit handstand push-ups, a total of 30 apiece.
Yeah, and Centron just ran off your screen. He was tagging in, so the Sharks could get started on their deficit handstand push-ups. Aces with a slight edge.
It's going to be Sam Martin, the former Gainesville Wild player, on your screen right now. Alex Velez on the floor for the Aces, and you have Durant coming on over to quadrant 4 ready. So Velez to finish off the deficit handstand push-ups, Durant to start and possibly finish the 10 free standing handstand push-ups. Hand is up on the Aces side.
Both teams, just a few reps remaining.
Here comes Durant in the back of your screen. There she is.
She's 4 reps in. Her hand has gone up for her referee.
Her and Blatt will have to go to the finish line, cross it together, and they will. And it looks like the Aces will get back within 3 points.
Celebrating with their team. Still about 60 seconds on the clock. So these Sharks should be able to get done. They now just started their freestanding handstand push-ups. 3 reps down. That's 4 faulted there by the referee.
And Brioso looking to finish it off. Plenty of time for him. Making those freestanding handstand push-ups look easy. And a little surprising to me there when you have the combination of the likes of Palumbo, Centrone, Martin, and Ambrioso. I would say one of the stronger gymnastic bodyweight specialist cohesive group that we have, but the Aces take that one. We've got Cassie at the start line. Cassie, what you got for us?
Out here on the grid between the teams once again, the Orlando Aces are really feeling that fire under their shoes once again, having won that race, and the Orlando Aces feeling a little bit beat up. I think that they felt pretty confident to be winning that race, but looks like they're just picking themselves back up, getting ready for this next one. Female Triad is next. Back to the table.
Thank you so much, Cassie. We look forward to hearing from you more throughout this race. Again, this live stream presented to you by Skyhill USA. Here's a quick message from them, and then we get back to the action.
I was actually starting to make videos towards the end of high school to try to go to college for gymnastics, and I ended up having shoulder surgery. I tore my labrum, and that was it for gymnastics. A friend got me into CrossFit, and then when I heard about Grid, the original one, I did everything I could to try to be part of the league. I use a lot of grips, and these are just my favorite pair that I've ever touched. With the way these are just sewn on and with that padding, it's a whole new dimension in terms of grips for CrossFit. And when you lock onto that bar like you're supposed to with these things, they just lock you in. These are probably the only grips I'll use.
Big goal of mine is to share my story, to inspire others. Once I got back to the States, during hard chemotherapy rounds, I was back in remission, but now this time I needed to have a bone marrow transplant. After another round of chemotherapy, I then endured a fungal infection that was going to my brain. Very close call. Had 5 surgeries in 6 days. But I battled through, fought through, and survived. Made it to my bone marrow transplant. Took about 11 months for my blood to start reproducing again. You know, through that time, I still continued to train. I continued striving to just be the best I can be and do the best that my body could do. So I preach health and fitness, because it saved my life, not once but twice. I will continue to tell my story on why I eat the way I eat every day. You know, I'm eating clean. Carnivore snacks, you know, it's just legit salt and your protein, and that's it. They all taste great. I look forward to snacking on them every day. Being a busy dad, I get to snack and not forget to eat while I'm taking care of my 14-month-old son. So carnivore snacks is great. I definitely highly recommend it.
Welcoming you back to the action, folks. And action we have had. We got our next race coming up, but what an amazing story. Matt Cable, player for the Tampa Bay Brigade. We're going to see him later on today, 5:25, as the Brigade take on the Sharks. So make sure you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get all those notifications and you do not miss Cable and the Brigade take on the Sharks later on. But right now, Sharks are taking on the Orlando Aces. They currently have a 4-point lead right now, 11-7. And we'll see if the Aces right now, the ladies, can get the Aces back into this race, into this match in the female triad. What do they have to take on in this triad?
All right, looking ahead at the female triad. This consists of 5 elements. Now, there's 3 stations of each working at the same time. So 3 ladies out on the grid. Now, they can help each other in their respective stations, but they cannot move on into a new element until all 3 stations of the previous element have been completed. And any player can work at any station, as I mentioned before. Now let's talk about what they are doing today, element-wise. For element number 1, in overhead squats in quadrant number 1, there are 12 overhead squats for these ladies at 100 pounds, then 20 toes to bar. From there, they have 10 dumbbell-weighted pistols at 30 pounds for those dumbbells, 5 ring muscle-ups, and then they're going to finish things off with an 80-foot flip sled at 450 pounds. And that's a team effort of all 3 ladies, if they'd like, working on that one sled.
30 seconds on the clock, Joe, and if the previous female triad between the Wild and the Brigade previews anything, it's the first team that was off of the overhead squats and through the toes to bar, finished in both the male and female triads, finished the race with a win. So I want to stress the importance of these first 2 elements and trying to get a lead off of them.
Yeah, and these are easily things that you can get caught up in as far as faults. Not going deep enough, trying to hurry things along, going deep enough in the squat, extending the hip when you come all the way back up. So things you have to be conscientious of.
We've got Rainier, Bonito, and I believe that's Gunning on the floor for the Sharks. The Aces are done. As Stallings switches out, Durant, Boyd, and Medeiros on the floor for the Aces.
Yep, all 3 ladies for each team now chipping away at 20 toes to bar. And as you said, from here, I think the first team to come off the toes to bar is likely the one to take it, because there's only 15 total repetitions really left before they get to that sled. 10 of those dumbbell pistols, and of course the 5 ring muscle ups.
You have Nally, Palumbo, and Kennedy on your screen.
And these players know exactly what they should be doing, when to substitute. If they've worked things out at practice, they know as soon as they finish the repetition if they're going to be moving on to that next element or if they should be tagging out.
Gunning, Kennedy, Natalie on the floor for the Sharks, knocking out these dumbbell pistols. Medeiros is done on the side of the Aces, as is Stallings, as is Durant. Durant and Medeiros will stay on the floor for ring muscle-ups. Nally, Kennedy, and Palumbo on the floor for the Sharks. Aces first onto the rings, all three ladies to finish.
Hands are up from those referees. About 2 reps remaining for the Aces. Roughly 2 or 3 reps remaining for the Sharks. So the Aces with a slight edge in this race. All finished up now, going to head to that start line. Sharks not far behind, but the sled is flipping for the Aces. That's 450 pounds for these ladies.
And
80 feet.
A huge fault on the side of the Sharks. Huge fault on the side of the Sharks. I mean, the Aces were the first to the flip sled, so I don't think it really matters too much, but we'll explain in a second. As the Aces cross the finish line, and the Aces will take the female triad. The Sharks will cross the finish line, but the Sharks had 3 ladies on the flip sled ready to go, and as soon as Palumbo finished her muscle-ups, they started, but Palumbo was still on the floor.
Right.
So unsure as to what they did to resolve that, but anyways, the Aces had started beforehand and seemed to have just been in a rhythm already. So those ladies coming out strong, gaining a point here for the Aces. What was a 4-point lead is now a 3-point lead. We've got 2 races to go.
And we still haven't seen the Aces bonus flag.
We have not seen that yet. So excited to see if they're going to hold on to it or if they're going to use it now. We'll wait and see. Cassie, you're standing by with one of the Ace ladies. She took down that triad. How is Medeiros and the Aces feeling?
Orlando Aces, happy birthday, by the way. How you feeling?
Thank you. I feel good. Ready to go for the next couple races.
Glad to hear it. There was some kind of confusion on the muscle-ups. You guys didn't start until Kayla Hollings was kind of out on the grid. Was that purposeful? Was that a mistake? Or you just didn't notice in the heat of the moment?
To be honest, my back was to the action, so I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't even see it.
It be like that sometimes. Thank you so much for your time, Megan.
Thank you.
Back to you guys. Yes.
So we just saw the females take on the triad. The males will take on the triad after this message.
Grid Wars! Yeah, baby!
Excited. This is going to be fun. I like stuff like this. Being able to coach and get people into it and have them have the first grid experience, it's going to be a good time.
Nervous, excited, never done this.
Really nervous, but it's going to be fun. Wish me luck.
Kill it.
1, 2, 3, Junior!
That was the spark we needed. It's electric in the air, baby.
Now we can do the mini grid.
Was amazing. The race was so funny.
All comes down to this, Mike. Let's go.
I think we're going to be all right. And once we win this one, we win the whole thing.
No, back away. That's
Sportsmanship over here.
Fuck you! Pretty much gonna do the whole thing, and then I'm gonna run across and win. Come on. What happened? I'm just kidding, but I love you.
6 a.m. 6 a.m. Forever the best. She beat me. Champ.
We are Relax and Get Results. Josh and Daniel here. We've been with the Grid League since about 5 years now, and we love being part of the team, taking care of the team. Their well-being means a lot to us, so we're always in the sideline, making sure they're okay. You know, we specialize in everything that has to do with sports, massage, sports recovery, stretching. So what we do is basically help them maximize their potential and help them prevent injury as well.
The recovery aspect, we speed up the recovery time, help athletes regain range of motion that they've lost due to injury or overuse, overtraining. Pretty much just keeping people as healthy as possible is what our goal is.
Yeah, especially with Greet, you know, it's very intense and it's very fast. So when we improve their mobility, their flexibility, they're obviously going to perform at a higher level. So with them, that's mainly our main concern, is to get them flexible so they're faster at everything they do.
Back to the action, and it feels like we just started, and we've got 2 races left. The males' turn to take on the Triad. What can the males expect?
Here's what we got. Similarly to what we just saw with the ladies, looking ahead at the male Triad. They've got 12 overhead squats in quadrant number 1. This time the barbell will be 155 pounds. Then they'll hit those 20 toes to bar. There you go, folks. Now you got it on your screen. From there, they've got the 10 weighted pistols with a 50-pound dumbbell, 8 ring muscle-ups, and then that flip sled for 80 feet, this time at 650 pounds. We're 10 seconds away from the action.
Gomez, Shappy, and Niemczyk lined up for the Sharks. You've got Hollings, you've got DeMatti, and you've got McNeil on the overhead squats for the Aces currently on your screen.
Yeah, once again, chipping away at 12 overhead squats, those barbells 155 pounds.
I've got 3 hands up on the Shark side. I got 2 hands up on the Aces side, but DeMatti's done. Blatt's coming onto the floor. We're gonna stay on the Shark side. Shappy stays on the floor. We got along with Ambrioso and Berga.
Yep, and looking over at the Aces, we've got Lasso,
Blatt, and McNeil.
Once again, 20 toes to bar in this station. From there, they'll move on to 10 dumbbell pistols with a 50-pound dumbbell. Now, these gentlemen can help each other if for some reason they get held up on any of these individual stations, but they can't move on to the next element until they are done. And it looks like the Sharks have a slight edge heading into these dumbbell pistols.
Joe, we've seen Shappy do overhead squats, toes to bar, and now pistols. How much longer can he stay on the floor? He's gonna go off the floor now. He's done though. Here comes Ambrioso.
Yeah, funny you say that. He did get tagged out right at that point. Now he has his hands on the flip sled, so I have a feeling he'll be coming back in once his team gets done with these muscle-ups.
So Ace is able to make up ground. Lasso and Ambrioso started the muscle-ups at the same exact time. Niemczyk stay on the floor. Berger's now on the floor for the Sharks. McNeil, Blatt, and Lasso were all on the floor for the pistols. So unknown how much fatigue has been set in and if that's going to play a role here. Ambrioso's going to finish up the muscle-ups for Niemczyk. Gomez is now on the floor.
And they've got 8 ring muscle-ups here.
Unknown that there's some miscommunication here, but the Aces will be the first to touch and flip the sled. Gomez is still on the rings.
They did it again.
Mistake.
So, yeah, same exact mistake. Now, we're going to watch the Aces easily beat the Sharks here, so we'll just talk about what happened. There's 1 player out on the grid. There were 2 that needed to be touching that flip sled. As long as only 4 hands were on it, it would have been fine. When that 3rd player grabbed a hold of it, instantly made it a fall. It erases any effort that they put into lifting it up. Just terrible communication there.
We haven't seen any of that from the Sharks throughout today's match, but we've seen it in the last 2 races. What was a 4-point lead turned into a 3-point lead, And right now it's going to turn into a 2-point lead where the Aces still have a bonus flag, and the sprint relay normally worth 3 points. So this could mean winner takes all for the second time out of 2 matches today so far. So things we haven't seen from the Sharks throughout the season yet, we're seeing now. Breakdown of communication, unknown really what happened on the must-up side of things. But the Aces have clawed and climbed back into this match, and it all comes down to the sprint relay. Folks, do not go anywhere. You had plenty of action today. First match came down to the sprint relay. Second match comes down to the sprint relay. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you after this break.
If you thought about joining a grid team, this is for you. Grid League is a high-speed, high-adrenaline, exciting team sport that showcases a wide range of athletic types, from heavyweight strength specialists to light and speedy bodyweight specialists and everything in between, including well-rounded utility players.
Can't explain the experience with my words, because you have to be here to really experience what it is.
Grid League is a true team sport in every sense. It brings back the feeling of team camaraderie in a new and powerful way. As never before have men and women been showcased together in a true, large team sport like this. It's the team sport experience elevated in an incredible and powerful way. Showcase your hard work on the big stage, earn sponsorship deals, receive official Grid League gear and products, and battle it out with your team for that championship prize. Your chance to earn the right to sign to a Grid League team happens once a year in the American Grid Trials. This online combine features several tests focused on a wide range of skill sets, and each with a prize. Only perform the tests you feel best exhibit your abilities, and there is no overall score. For the first time ever, prospective players can reserve their spot in the American Grid Trials far in advance. At the lowest price it will be offered all year, just $16, you can sign up for the trials. Plus, receive a bonus package at sign up that includes 150 grid training workouts from all 3 positions, including progressions for high-skill Grid League movements, an e-book that explains the Grid League race rule basics you'll need to know, access to our online training portal for our staff and referees to learn details about Grid League rules, an exclusive discount for prospective players to all remaining Grid League events in 2023, a Grid League sponsor coupon book worth hundreds in savings for the latest and best products in the fitness space. This is over $120 value for just $16. But more importantly, you'll be taking that first step to seeing your daily hard work shine on the grid and feeling the excitement of celebrating victory with your team. Don't wait, as the price will increase each month until the trials kick off in 2024. Take advantage of the best deal you can get right now and make the commitment to yourself. See you on the grid. Head to thefgl.com/play or the link in the caption below to get started.
My name is Lacey Boyd. I am a utility player for the Orlando Aces. I tore my ACL during one of the grid races called the Mirror. It was 10 hang power clean, but on the 8th or 9th rep, I felt like a pop in my knee, and I was like, well, that's not good. But I just kept going and didn't really think anything of it because I've never been injured before.
The video that she showed seemed like a very minor injury. However, she tore her ACL. She tore her meniscus. She had a displaced bucket handle tear, which is a serious issue. As a former CrossFitter and a former athlete and a sports-trained orthopedic surgeon, that's an important part of what I do as a sports medicine physician. Is I look at the athlete's-specific sport, the movements that are involved, and we tailor the rehab to get people back to their particular sport.
If you get injured, take the time your body needs to recover. Be very patient with yourself, both physically and emotionally. It's really like, you kind of feel like you're alone when it happens initially, because like none of your other friends or family are feeling the way that you do. You feel like not helpless, but in a sense you feel like you lost your independence at the time. But just listen to yourself, listen to your doctor, and it's just a minor setback to fling you forward. It's all going to end up better than what you expected.
I'm Dr. Jamie here with the Box Doc, and we are going to talk about the butterfly ring muscle up and how to safely perform this movement. Before you start doing butterfly ring muscle ups, a couple things we should have under our belt as a prerequisite. If you can't string together 5 to 8 regular ring muscle ups, probably shouldn't be starting to perform this movement yet. Also, if we can't do maybe 2 to 3 strict ring muscle ups, this is another thing that we should probably hold off on until we build that prerequisite strength so that you can do this movement safely. We can do the butterfly ring muscle up 2 different ways. You can start from the top of the movement, or you can go back into the dip before you reach out into that extension pattern. But the goal here is creating a length tension relationship with the rings and your body. So what you don't want to do is come down and see the slack in the ring. You see the slack and you let out the slack. What that's going to do is at the bottom, it's going to kind of jerk you and put a lot of stress through those shoulders. What we want to do, whether you're moving from the top or here, is push those rings away and keep that tension without any slack on those rings so that you can get in that nice tight Superman position before you go back into that next muscle up. If you do this, it will actually make the muscle up easier because you will start swinging in a pattern that's going to basically set you up into that next muscle up. But if you lose that tension on those straps, you're going to start swinging all over the place and you're going to feel really jerky at the bottom.
Welcoming you back to the action live from the Orange County Convention Center. It's the Northern Conference taking on Over Under. And we've made it here. The final race of this second match of 4 today. Sharks between the Aces. What was a 4-point lead turned into a 3-point lead, is now a 2-point lead, and a sprint relay is winner take all as the Aces have thrown the bonus flag, making this race worth 4 points. This race is a sprint relay. Joe, what's today's sprint relay consistent of?
All right, well, this is a relay race where one player completes each movement as fast as possible. After each element is complete, the player can sprint to the start line to perform a 4-point touch, both hands, both feet, and then sprint across the finish line. Now, they can substitute at any time except after performing the final rep of any given element. Now, let's talk about the elements for today. Looking ahead for this sprint relay, we've got 20 wall balls with a 20-pound wall ball up to a 10-foot high target. Following that, 15 overhead squats at 185 pounds, a 40-foot back handspring, 80-foot handstand walk across the length of the grid, 6 deck to pullovers, which is a burpee, pull over the rig, pull-up bar essentially, and then 9 burpees to a 9-foot 9 ring, and then capping things off with 7 clean and jerks at 225 pounds.
Teams are set. We got 10 seconds on the clock for the second time today in as many matches. It all comes down to this. Sharks in the green, Aces in the black. Winner take all. Bonito and Hollings open it up for these teams. Hollings on your screen right now. Bonito in the green. 20-pound wall ball, 20 reps to a 10-foot target. As Joe, you mentioned, the important key here is whoever finishes that final rep, 4-point touch at the start line, sprints to the finish line, and they're done for the rest of the match. Strategy, key on the sprint relay.
Yeah, absolutely. Chances are you usually see this with something when it comes to like the overhead squat that's coming up next. You'll see a partner come out, complete the majority of the repetitions of the element, and then possibly substitute in or out with another player because maybe they need them later on for the clean and jerk. So right now, we're looking at the Matty for the Aces chipping away at those 15 overhead squats, barbell weighing 185 pounds. Now we'll see if he will be going all the way through or if he'll be substituting out himself. Now with the Sharks, 4 reps remaining as the referee's hand is in the air, and that's exactly what happened. Damati tapped out. Taylor Stallings coming in to finish up the overhead squats. She only had 1 rep. She did get faulted on her first. She is making the sprint, so it did give a slight edge for the Sharks as they are already started on their back handsprings, and now on your screen sprinting to that start line. Aces across the grid just finished their back handsprings, and now the Sharks out on their 80-foot handstand walk.
Sam Alley on the floor on your screen in the green. She's about a 2-quadrant lead above David Blatt and the Aces.
This race is far from over. They have handstand walks. They've got deck to pull over. We've got hang snatches, burpees, and clean and jerks still remaining in these elements.
Here comes Sam Martin onto the deck to pullovers. Here comes FGL rookie Christian Alvarez-Diaz.
Alvarez-Diaz flying over that bar, hardly making contact with his body. He doesn't even need to.
All the way from Colombia, Alvarez-Diaz.
As a rookie, you're seeing Alvarez-Diaz having a little bit of a shake-up. Probably first-time jitters out on the grid.
Still, plenty of room, plenty of opportunity for the Aces to get back into this. Plenty of elements. As Kennedy, now on your screen, performing the dumbbell hang snatch. Here comes Lacey Boyd. You saw a feature in her on the previous commercial. Coming back from an Achilles tear. Back on the grid floor. So good to see her rocking those hang snatches. And just 4 reps separate the Aces and the Sharks. 4-point touch for Kennedy.
Boyd just finishing up. She's heading back to the start for 4 points of contact.
Now this can make it. Berga on the floor with a 9-foot burpee to ring touch. 9'9", excuse me. Daryl McNeil, someone we usually see doing this element. Once again, it's extremely important. They've got to touch the ring and they can't hit it too hard.
Now McNeil was faulted on his first rep, but looking over at the Sharks, he's now been faulted 2 in a row. And what happens is you find that these gentlemen start to get fatigued and the ring will start moving, and this could make things very iffy.
And
fault for the Sharks. Aces now out front.
Nick McNeil was able to go through it and stay clean. Shappy now on the floor for the Sharks.
And we've got, for the Aces, Alex Hollings. He's got 7 reps. The referee's hand is in the air, so 4 reps remaining, 225 pounds of those clean and jerks.
Plenty of time for Hollings. 2 more reps to go. The Orlando Aces threw the bonus flag. Taylor Stallings put it all out on the line, and Alex Hollings and the Orlando Aces will go to 3-0. They will remain undefeated and pretty much lock in a spot into championship weekend. We won't say officially, but 3-0 undefeated is going to move mountains going into championship weekend.
That's Nimchek. Nimchek for the Sharks now, just finishing his last rep. They will still get under that cap with 20 seconds here. Being that bonus flag was thrown, it's unofficially going to be 15
to 14.
To 14.
So the Aces will take